Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining. Right.
Oh, hi Meg.
So today we're going to be discussing PMS and menopause sensitivity, right?
Yeah.
So, not menopause, progesterone.
Progesterone, yeah.
It's the end of the day, guys, everyone out there.
I know. Okay.
Because I've got my book tour coming up, so it's all hands on deck.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
well done you.
yeah,
Well done
of
you. I'm
course.
really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But I'm wanting to get the best, be the best that Meg can be.
Yeah.
You know,
And so you should.
we all gives us confidence, and we know it does. I'm not saying that, I just want to get fit and healthy and feel comfortable in myself. And we know as women that we don't feel comfortable. If I'm carrying a few extra pounds, I will be completely, 100%,
Well, no. Well, give us the name of your book again. Just remind us what it's called.
My book is called The New Hot.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
And it's out on in the beginning of October. And you can pre-order it from Amazon, but it's also going to be available from all good bookshops, Amazon, Waterstones, Dawn's, all those lovely bookshops that we need to also keep, keep going as well, everyone. I mean, yeah, lovely pre-order on Amazon. It would be amazing for me. But also I want to say that, there's nothing better than walking into a bookshop and buying a book.
And will you have it at the conference? I presume you'll have copies at the conference if the conference
The
goes
conference
ahead.
is not October anymore.
Oh, okay. I'm behind the times here.
Yes, we moved it to May.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Just because basically the Westminster Hall could not say whether they could do 300 people, and that's, you know what I mean. It's like that's the capacity that everybody wants it to come. So it's like, and we won't know. And also, as we know, everyone is on holiday, and there could be a spike, couldn't there? We don't know.
I think there will be a spike, but
Yes.
I think it's inevitable as we go back out into, sort of doing our everyday things, going back into the shops, sort of work, and which I think we do have to do, because we do have to get back into a sense of normality, rather than hiding away, because I think there are so many other things that could be impacting people, like mental health issues. So mental well-being is a huge part. We already know, things like domestic abuse is on the rise, vulnerable children. And I think we have to weigh that all up alongside COVID as well. So, it's a calculated risk, but which one we have to do.
Out there, yeah. But like, I listened to LBC today, as I love LBC, the huge fan, and they had this woman scientist on. She just said it's all about, for you, is yourself to know to be the most responsible that you feel that you can be, and your family unit. So know when you walk into a situation or a pub or a restaurant or go somewhere, and you know that it's not to the satisfaction that it should be, or to that standard, or someone didn't wash their hands, or no one's got a mask on. So I feel we each as individuals have to be really responsible. And if we all are responsible for ourselves to this certain level, then around.
I'm with you on that, Meg. 100%.
Yeah, and I think that's a very sensible thing to say to people, because you're not forcing it down their throat. You're not saying, you have to. I don't know whether many people. I just do know that I drove down Marylebone High Street Tuesday. Every pub just was everyone on the pavement, no mask. There were hundreds, because it was a sunny day. I mean, hundreds. And I loved it, seeing everyone out there. But I was just thinking, there is no social distancing going on.
Yeah. No. I know. And I think we all should share this responsibility. And whilst, you may be fit, well, healthy, other people may have other issues going on, even though on the outside they may look well. They may have autoimmune conditions, they may be on cancer treatment, they may have a number of things going on that you may not be aware of. And just because on the surface somebody looks okay doesn't mean to say that. So I think we've all got a shared responsibility to society as a whole, and to be the best of who we are as well.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think, like we say, we do know that this COVID takes weeks and weeks and weeks. And I spoke to Amanda from Fit and Chips, and she was on her 13th, 14th week, and she's a really fit person.
Yeah.
And, so, you know, but we better get back to not, because only because we haven't seen each other for two
No,
weeks.
I know.
So
It's
we better get caught. We're going to get back, because well, at least we haven't dropped out many people followers, so that's good.
No, and actually, you know, I mean, this has been a subject that a lot of people, I've had some, I don't know if you've had questions in or concerns in, but PMS, you know, for me particularly, I mean, I've suffered with it throughout my life. And you know, when I was much younger, going to go and see my doctor, you know, there really wasn't much out there, or people didn't know that much about it as well. And so I think it's important that we're discussing it, because it also leads on to, you know, progesterone sensitivity. And those women who tend to have PMS also tend to be the one who also get postnatal depression, who are then the one that get the worst perimenopauses, and also the ones that get the progesterone sensitivity. So I think it's important to understand that PMS is common and how it impacts throughout the reproductive stages of a woman's life. You know, like I said, post-pregnancy and perimenopause, and talk about it and see what we can do about it and how we can help.
Yeah, I think I mean, it's really good, because, as you know, I didn't have any PMS, and I never had it, never had a period pain, never had a, you know, didn't have to have a day off for sport, you know, didn't eat pounds of chocolate and want to stab my body. I just didn't have it. So,
I did exactly like that, you know. And the funny thing was, when I used to go into work, when I was a GP, my reception staff knew that it must be that hormonal time of the month, and let's just stay clear of her. She'll just get on and do her job, but she's not going to make chit chat with her. She's just going to do what she needs to do. And you know, it was a very emotional time, and especially one of the things I would say is that it tends to reflect how your month has been. So stress has a big part to play.
Right.
And I know when I was going through my relationship breakdown, that my PMS would be worse that particular month when things were worse. So stress has a huge bearing. So if you can manage your stress in some ways, whether it's exercise, you know, yoga, you know, mindfulness, it's a big part. And we know that those women who suffer with PMS also suffer with other things like IBS, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, you know, so and are women who are also prone to anxiety and depression. So somebody just mentioned bloat. I'll go on to bloat in a moment, but you know, it really affects your mental well-being. And it's amazing that how, when your periods start, after a couple of days, your energy levels come back, and how you kind of ping back up to being, you know, yourself. And it's fine in some ways when you're single, and you can kind of go into your little hibernation mode for a few days. But when you've got to face the rest of the world, and you've got these horrible pains, cramps, and you do turn into a little bit of a, or you can do. I mean, some people get quite tearful, upset. Some people quite get angry and irritable. I always worry I'll end up snapping and saying the wrong thing. And because you become also hypersensitive. So it's not a nice time. And for some women, it can be half the month. You know, from the point of ovulation onwards, it can be half the month. So it is something which is really common. And bloating, somebody's mentioned utrogestin and bloating. So we know that in menopause transition, a lot of women complain about bloating. And the same thing is when you are perimenopausal, you tend to feel, you know, sort of more gassy, bloated. For some women, they get more constipated. Some they get more diarrhea, so they get more IBS type symptoms. And actually, you know, utrogestin, because even though that is natural progesterone, also does give rise to those symptoms. Because if you think about it logically, you're getting PMS because of your own body's natural progesterone. So utrogestin can often mimic those symptoms, and that's why those women are progesterone sensitive, like I am a progesterone sensitive woman.
Okay, it makes a lot of sense. So not for you, just because certain people that I know that basically they're perimenopausal, they have their period, they have PMS, but then they also have a week of perimenopause, the symptoms on top of that. And then I know, and then they come out the toilet and they go, oh, just come on, I feel fantastic. And I'm like, what, just like that? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, Really?
Because the reason why you get PMS is when you have ovulation, your estrogen levels are high. And then if you don't get fertilization, i.e. if you don't get pregnant, then they drop and your progesterone levels become a little bit more dominant. It's not that they're particularly high.
Yeah.
It's just that they're relatively more dominant. And so that's when people feel that bloating, that tiredness, clumsiness. Like I'll always bump into things, forgetfulness, or your memory's not so sharp. And it's the same thing that happens in perimenopause. And when women who then take the utrogestan as well in that sort of cyclical regime, although utrogestan has lots of positive effects, like it helps you sleep better, some women say it helps them feel calmer, but for those women who are sensitive, they feel irritable, moody, almost depressed, bloated. So often with those progesterone sensitive women, it's an idea to think about taking the utrogestan vaginally.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
you can break the tablet.
No, because it's only 100 milligrams. You don't break that one. You can just insert that.
Oh, you just insert the whole thing, and it just dissolves.
It just dissolves. It just dissolves.
Wow.
Okay. Or if you are particularly
I thought there was liquid inside that thing.
No, they're little capsules. They're micronized, so it's little. Yeah. I was going to say like little dots inside.
Oh, okay.
And for some women who are even more sensitive, even if that causes them bloating, moodiness, feeling low, then we can do it every few months. Every 2 months or every 3 months. It's what we call tricycling. And then often I will say, let's do a scan just to double check that everything's in tune. Maybe at 6 months or a year point. So there are things that you can do. But I think also, talking about how you're doing things, having a cleanse, think about sort of cutting back on sugar, cutting back on caffeine, cutting back on salt. These are all things that can help. And magnesium supplements are very useful as well from a calm. And vitamin B6.
Yeah, I take both of those, definitely.
And I think they're in your Meno blend, aren't they? Vitamin B,
all of that.
vitamin D.
It's all in my Meno blend, Yeah, and plus all the superfoods and everything else we've got in there, of course, as we know. Yeah, really good. But the other thing is you've got the week. So say you've got perimenopause symptoms, and you've got PMS, and you've got your period. So would you? I'm going to say. I don't know, would you advise if you're on the estrogel or whatever, could you put a couple more pumps on if you're feeling really rubbish, or do you, by talking to you or your doctor?
Yeah, normally I don't say a couple. Sometimes I say it might be worthwhile to up it by one pump in that time frame.
Oh, that's what I meant. If you're doing one pump, do the other one.
So maybe having an additional pump. The other thing, surprisingly, that people may not be so aware of is also taking an antidepressant like fluoxetine or sertraline or citalopram, just for that short period of time, that 10 days or 2 weeks can very much help. It's not, Brilliant. It doesn't work in the same, it doesn't mean that you're depressed. It's not in the same way as when you take it for depression. You can take it for maybe those 10 days each month on top of your utrogestan. Or when you have got those PMS symptoms. So that's another way of managing it, that you can add that in as well. So because
that's
what
really
we're trying to do,
because
we're trying to boost the serotonin.
Really suffer, it's like, really, I know because I get DM'd all the time about it, and I feel awful because I'm like, I don't get that feeling. So I just didn't. But then I had the worst menopause everyone. So
you made up for it then.
I made up for it. Yeah, I was walking around like that, and then I got hit with the menopause where I couldn't even leave the house. So I think I made up for it for a good 3 years. Yeah, definitely. And so progesterone sensitive. How do people know they are? How would I know that I was? Would I get bloated? Would I feel rubbish?
It's more about your mood and mental well-being. So I think it's more to do with, like, you get PMS type symptoms. You feel irritable, upset, sad, depressed. You feel bloated. You have food cravings. Sort of, you're just eating carbs and sugars and so that's how you would know really that you're sensitive to it. And often, women wouldn't just get that in perimenopause. They'd have probably been suffering with PMS throughout their life, or had postnatal depression, and then they would be then they would probably get it. Because if in perimenopause you start off taking Utrogestan and you feel a bit bloated, you feel a bit moody, I usually say to people, look, let's give it 2 or 3 months, because it can often settle down. If you're not one of those women who suffered in the past with it, then it could well settle down. And then, but if it doesn't, then like I said, there are a number of things we can do. We can either change you to a synthetic progesterone, or we can tricycle, as in you don't take the progesterone every month, you take it every 2 months or 3 months. But
that's good.
But just be aware you might get some irregular bleeding. Or you can take some, if mood is a big issue during that time period, or that you take the Utrogestan, you can take some fluoxetine or some sertraline, which is, you know, somebody said, I didn't realize we could do that with PMS. Yes, you can.
And you can just take it for those weeks. It works. You don't have to take it all the time.
Just for those days. Like
wow, and it will work. It will work that quickly, and it will help you out.
Yeah, because what it's doing.
I thought you had to be on those things, and they said to me like they don't work for like 8 weeks, and or
you're right when it comes to depression. Okay. Yeah. But when it comes to PMS, because what happens is, because your estrogen levels drop, and then with that your serotonin levels drop, all the SSRIs are doing is maintaining your happy neurochemical serotonin at a higher level just for those days. So it's absolutely fine to take it, but you're right. If you're taking it for depression, anxiety, long term, it does take about 3 to 4 weeks to kick in properly, because your body's got set in that low mode.
Yeah, when I was on them, because that when they first put me on them, when I first went to the doctor, and I was just like, well, is it going to work now? And they were like, no, you know, you're going to have to, you know, you might have to do the dose or half it. You might feel a bit weird, a bit spacey, you know. And I was like, oh my God, like this, I want it to kick in now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I felt, but because of my anxiety, I was just like, give me anything, please. You know,
there's no quick fix to that, whereas with this, it does work very well in that respect.
Absolutely not. No, we have to manage that with breathing. Like you said, it has to have, you know, it's just everything, you know, to keep, you know,
diet, lifestyle. And I know you may not feel like you want to do some exercise. You may not feel like you want to do, but even just getting out and doing something, walking, getting a bit of sunlight, that helps with those sort of happy chemicals, you know, serotonin, you know, sunshine.
Big question here for you. I bet it's for you. I'm in perimenopause. Your symptoms continued in menopause. When do you start not having symptoms?
you know, it's almost like saying, how long
is a piece of string? Thank you. We've got to say that. So to the person out there, please don't feel doom and gloom. I have great days, and 90% of the time I feel good, but I'm just not. But I am 54 now, so of course I take that into account, that I'm not 34, but there is a big difference. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel, I mean, when I say I still have symptoms, I'm on top of all the estrogen ones, and, you know, the ones that were so significant because I had lack of estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and, you know, my sleep is the worst. It is not very good still. So I've got to say that, and I will be completely honest, and I do, you know, try, you know, that there's that brilliant honor stuff called nighttime or something. You know, it's all natural stuff, and I have to, you know, take that. And if I go to the States, or if I can get it, I have melatonin. And I really can't believe why it's not allowed in the UK, but anyway.
No, you can. You
can get it?
Yeah, your NHS doctor won't prescribe it, but you can get it privately. I do prescribe melatonin sometimes to some of my patients, because it does work very well in perimenopause. So you can get it privately. But, you know, like you said, if you go to Canada or United States, you can just go into the chemist.
Anywhere. You can just walk into CVS and go, like, you know. But if, you know, you can't, then, you know, of course, we're not all going to the States or anything. But, you know, it did work for me. And, you know, and I have to do something like sleeping, spraying my pillow with lavender. I try everything, because I really suffer with, I can fall asleep amazing. And then about 3 or 4. I'm sort of, you know, because I have a very big dog, he makes a lot of noise. And you know, then of course, you know, but so I'm gonna actually tonight for the first time, I'm gonna do earplugs, wax earplugs I bought today.
Okay.
Right, because, and I've got my blackout over my eyes, which I now is working because I'm pitch black, and we know that we make melatonin when we're pitch black, don't we?
Yeah.
And I know that they're all those little lights that are on my TV and everything. I'm now going to turn them off at the wall, because even those lights, I mean, I've got like a computer thing in plug for the Wi-Fi, because it doesn't go up to the house, even though we live in central London, can't get Wi-Fi in my bedroom.
No, I know.
You know, it's mad, isn't it? So I have like a router stuck in as a plug one, and it's so bright, and I didn't think about that either. So, you know, all that, doesn't it?
Because, you know, I think I'm really pleased that you said that you feel 90%, some days are better than the other, because I think the other thing to understand is that whilst HRT can help, and I presume you cope much better with HRT, you know, and your anxiety is lower, but also our lives are very hectic, busy, stressful. So, you know, I always say to patients, look, I think you will feel so much better, but I can't guarantee 100%, because, you know, our lives vary, change, you know, there are different stresses. We're thinking things through, you know, and there are days when you're a bit happier than other days. There are days when you're more stressful than other days. And that's just life. And the reason why somebody asked the question, why does our sleep go off? It's because it's not as simple as just one thing or another thing. And if you want to go on, I have written a blog post actually on it, so you can have a look at my website on this. But it's because when our estrogen levels are low, the estrogen controls our thermoregulation, so our body temperature. It also helps us to maintain prevents our sleep from getting broken so frequently. So that's why sleep is disrupted. Also, progesterone helps acts on our GABA receptors, which is our...
We love a bit of GABA. You can't get GABA.
GABA receptors. And so that's why Utrogestin and progesterone works really well to help people, you know, sleep so much better, because it helps with that calming aspect. So it's multifactorial, and you know, melatonin, also our circadian rhythm, which is to do with our day and night rhythm, also gets a bit messed up in perimenopause, and that's why melatonin can be very helpful too. So there's lots of factors, and life. You know, life.
You know, and it is very stressful at this time, I've got to say. Do you know what I mean? Even though, you know, I think I'm not like stressed, but there is an underlying anxiety because of what's going on in the world. I mean, that it really is, and it is an underlying factor. And even though it's not like a full on, I can feel this underlying slight rubble. Do you know what I mean? It's just there because, you know, it's, you know,
but it could also be it also can be excitement, stress, you know, in the sense of, you know, if you're dating someone new, you feel excited. Of course. If you're, you know, if you've started a new job and you love it, you know, like you and I with our business.
When I get in, when I've been out and having a really good night, you know, when I come back in, you know, you don't just fall straight asleep. It takes hours, and then I'm like, oh my god! And now it's about 2 o'clock in the morning but I've got in at 11, but I'm still really like, you know, high from the night, not high like that, everyone. Just high from life, and then it's like, you know, got to come down, and then I think, oh, I'll make myself a night tea and a chamomile, and you know, try to relax and bring myself down, and then, you know, calm, and then get to sleep.
Exactly. So there can be that sort of excitement, anxiety, stress, which also keeps us awake. You know, I mean, somebody said to me about my work, and I said, oh, I'm tired, and I said, but you know, it's that lovely tiredness because I feel I found my thing in life, you know. So you can still feel. So it's excitement as well. So and somebody asked the question, do these symptoms last forever? No, they don't. I mean, it's mainly because they're fluctuating and declining. Once you get to a steady state, then you don't tend to get such oscillating symptoms or such. So it does tend to sort of balance out. But like
just
you
feel
said,
old.
we don't know when that'll happen. Yeah, I mean, yes, I do think, you know, some people slip into that sort of grey zone,
Yeah.
but no, it doesn't have to be that you're symptomatic throughout your life. Because if you think about it, your mothers, your aunts, you know, other people that you know who are older, they're not forever with these symptoms. Although 9% of women are what we would call super flashes, and they do continue with hot flashes into their 60s and beyond. So
Oh, don't
super
they?
flashes, yeah, super
Super
flashes.
flashers. Oh my God, what a great name.
I know. So
You know,
there are those women
those
as
are
well.
those ones out there. Oh no. But they're all sitting there thinking, God, I hope that's not me. I mean, but
Yeah.
I've got to say, my night sweats, I do get night sweats. We've talked about this before. Like, I think it was about a month ago I said, didn't I, that I'd had like 4 nights and then I haven't had them since, you know.
Yeah.
So it's you know, one of those things. So what I'm saying to everyone is that, you know, the reason that I mean, I'm 6 years into it now, so it's 49 or whatever, and now 50. So I'm 6 years in, but I'm only really here talking about it so everyone can learn about it.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm really suffering everyone out there like every day.
You're doing a great job, and I've had a number of patients say this to me as well, Meg, that they love the fact that you're so open and you talk about it and you've raised awareness for so many people. It's been a really, you know, so it's been a really good thing, you talking about it and our little chats, you know.
Yeah,
I've
I
had
think
so
it's
many
great.
people saying it's been such a good thing in lockdown. It's been one of the best
Yeah.
things for some women, you know, that
Yeah.
they managed to address their menopause.
Yeah,
So,
and because you know, it was like before these sort of Insta Live, which is one thing that I think the lockdown brought was good, because these women all got to basically have an amazing doctor and, you know, talk and then DM and basically, you know, can put their questions out there, which
yeah.
is, it's lovely because you're giving your time for free and, you know, it goes on IGTV so people can catch up as well. And then, you know, and then everybody can get to, you know, to see
Yeah.
this and
And
get
they can
this
put some
advice,
questions.
because it's tough out there. And you know, you might just want to be watching one of these, you might not want to be reading or whatever, and you can
Yeah.
just watch this and you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow, or I'm going to, you know,
Exactly.
look into that, you know,
And
because
I
we
just
have
want to
to.
make a point that Terry's just said,
Yeah,
can you only go on to HRT for 5 years? And funnily enough,
thank you, Victoria.
I had a patient say this to me, look, can I only go on to HRT for 5 years? So should I wait until my symptoms go much worse? And the answer is no. You don't have to. You can stay on HRT for as long as you need to. So don't wait to go on to it. You
Yeah,
can stay on it
this
until
is
you're
what
80,
I
90.
thought. Yeah,
Yes.
this is
Okay.
exactly what was
Somebody else said
in
it to
my
me.
mind, because that's all I knew about was that
So they were
whole
waiting
thing.
for when it got
You've only
really
got
bad.
5 years, so I just thought I wait and wait and wait. But then that's why I
Exactly.
was, you know, and I never knew that the anxiety was that bad, that was the menopause. And then, you know, when I did the bloods and they're just like, ooh, you're running on 0, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's what it is then, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But it
So
took a
don't worry.
year of me
Yeah.
going to the doctor and just taking this and not getting really any better with it, because
Yeah.
I, you know, didn't suffer with depression. It was the anxiety and the feeling overwhelmed, and that foggy
Yeah.
brain, and not being able to be as on the ball as I was
Yeah.
is sort of frightening, because everything lacks in your world.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So
Love you.
so I mean, I feel we
Okay.
say this every single time, but I think we need to say it again, is you can go onto HRT when you've still got your periods, and
Thank you.
there's no end point. So there's no 5 years, 10 years. It's for as long as you want to, as long as you're fit and healthy.
Yes.
So don't hold back and wait until things get so much worse before you go and see your doctor. So I just need to say that again and again, because
Yes, please
I
do
feel
say it
really
again and
upset that
again.
women don't know, or they're not
Yeah,
getting their
because we're
treatment.
all about prevention, everyone. This is all about
Yeah.
prevention, because that
Yeah.
10 years, as we know, you can be perimenopause 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
That could be doing, you know, a little bit of damage to your body, as we know, osteoporosis, you know, your
You know, your
heart,
brain, your
brain.
heart,
Yeah,
everything.
so you want your lifestyle, you want to be feeling good, so it's about prevention, as we said before.
Yeah.
You know, if I was 45 back then, there's got a big long question there. Do you want to read that?
Oh, let's have a look.
Go on.
Okay. My mum had estrogen-fed breast cancer, and I'm suffering so badly with night sweats and lack of sleep, but too scared to go on HRT. I'm 53 and very sleep deprived. I think if your mum has estrogen-positive breast cancer, I think it's depending on what age she was, whether or not you also carry that high risk. If she was young when she had it, i.e. under the age of 50, then probably that you are in a higher risk category. But there are other things that you can do for night sweats. You can have clonidine, which is for hot flushes, night sweats. You can have the, as we talked about, SSRIs, which also work very well for hot flushes. So don't feel that you can't, but you do need to have a discussion with a doctor, and you need to have it individualized. I know I saw her jog across there just then. Don't feel the answers automatically no, but really we need to sit down and work out how much is hereditary, how much is population risk, and how much increasing risk is yours. Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. That's really, because that's.
But don't be scared to have a conversation. I mean, you might be scared of HRT, but don't be scared to have that conversation with a doctor.
Yeah, because also, you can do this. You can also do, you can do it herbally, can't you? There's lots of things you can. You can go to a homeopath or a naturopath. So if you want to stick away from like Western medicine, I'm really up.
There are lots of other. There are other things that you can do.
Yeah. So there's Caroline Gaskin, who I always work with, and she's just around the corner from you in the just off Marylebone, but she's got a website, and she's a homeopath, and she does all the menopause, but she does all the remedies and stuff like that. And I have a few girlfriends that do it because they can't. Because their
some people can't.
In the family, and their mums had it, very early, like, under the age of 40. Yeah. And so they won't do anything, but they do it that way. So you can do that if you're that frightened. Yeah.
So, but at least have the conversation. At least sort of break it down, work it out. How much is what, risk, family risk compared to what is population risk. Yeah. And then take it from there. And like you said, there are some sort of non-medical or pharmacological ways that you can manage it. And there are also alternative pharmacological ways that you can manage it as well. So, so you don't need to suffer. You don't need to have your night sweats or have your life, so disrupted to that degree. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to do that question? Because you don't have to put glasses on, right?
Okay. I've just started HRT, and at the moment the progesterone is making me feel worse. Will this settle? So we were talking about this before. It may settle. It may settle. Usually I say give it a couple of months, 2-3 months. But if you are somebody who in the past suffered with PMS or postnatal depression, you may be somebody for whom it doesn't settle, and we may need to look at alternative ways of you taking the progesterone or a different type of progestogen. So give it a couple of months at least, and then come back and have another chat with somebody about it.
Do you have to take progesterone? I mean, if I'm not having a period, why did we say I would get endometriosis, or the lining of my womb would get
thicker? Because what estrogen does is, going back to your earlier reproductive life, what it does is it makes that lining of the womb thicken, ready for the egg once it's fertilized to implant. Okay, so because that doesn't happen, when you have your period, and that's why you have your period. Yeah. So if when you have an HRT, you just keep giving estrogen, then that lining thickens, and the thicker it gets, that puts you at a higher risk of cancer of the lining of the womb.
Okay. So cancer. Okay, that's what I can do. I'm not going to have a big bleed, am I?
No, it's not about. It's really about
cancer.
It's keeping that lining of the womb as thin
as possible,
and lowering your cancer risk.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I better be a bit better at taking my estrogen in the evening then.
Your progesterone,
progesterone tablet. I forget a few times.
I mean, if what I would say to people, as long as you're taking it every other night.
Oh, well, that's okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't take it. Sometimes I just forget. Clean my teeth, and then I just like.
Yeah, if you forget the occasional one, that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
But if you're forgetting weeks,
no, it's not weeks, but I have it out.
I feel like I'm your mother now. If you're weeks of it, Meg.
Yes, no, I will remember like every now and then. Yeah. Okay. So have we got any more questions up there? down there, isn't it?
I just want to sort of quickly just touch back on PMS to say that 5% of women do have a very severe form of PMS, which is called premenstrual dysphoric disorder, PMDD. And that can be really debilitating, impacting you know, work, life, and it's actually a psychiatric condition. So if you are somebody who, you know, feels, you know, suicidal, depressed, low, you know, tearful, angry, irritable, then, you know, do go and see your doctor about it and see if there's something that can be done, because for some women it can be 5% of women, it can be really quite severe. And for those women, sometimes the treatment can be that you put them into an artificial menopause so that they don't
don't they have PMS?
they don't get so they don't get PMS, or you put them onto long-term contraceptive pills so that you basically are balancing their hormones so they're not getting a period each month. And so
oh my God,
so there are somebody
are
said I had a full hysterectomy at 41, and so been on HRT. I'm now 50, and my doctor told me I have to come off at 51. Is this right? No, Sarah, you don't. Okay.
Good. Tell them
Definitely
to go in there
not.
And, stand up for yourself with your GP.
Yeah, I would be thinking, Sarah, that you should also be on some testosterone. You know, I mean, that's something to discuss. But it sounds to me that you could. I often find that women who've had a surgical menopause, who've had a hysterectomy, really benefit a lot from having some testosterone also added in with their HRT preparations. Yeah.
Brilliant. But then, I mean, all these doctors that say this, I mean, you know, it's, don't say you have to come off and frighten the living daylights out of everyone. Just they can review it. And Sarah, you do not have to worry. Dr. Harper has said it.
Yeah. And just something I want to say is that, you know, you don't have to be in London to come and see me. You don't have to get out of your pajamas. We can do it by Zoom, Skype, video. And I'm even doing blood kits that I'm sending out to people so that they can get their bloods done as well. So don't feel that you have to be London based to come and see me.
No,
you can be anywhere.
Really anywhere. We're doing, this is what I mean. It's working well for all this, for people everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not you know, most people are not it's right in central London, and it's you know,
and some people don't want to travel, you know. And even a lot of my regular patients, people don't want to travel because of, you know, what we were talking about earlier about COVID, you know, managing things like that. So
it's easier, isn't it? I mean, I get so much more done in the day now, because having a meeting in town would be like, as we know in London, I'd be like, oh my God, going all the way into town, trying to find a parking space, you know, it's, you know, 45 minutes, whatever. But now I just say, look, I'm not meeting you in X Soho House for a coffee to talk absolute rubbish and do 3 sentences, which is all I wanted to hear.
Okay. Well, no, you still have to come and see me at some point.
I like just everyone to come to me, to come to Premenstrual.
I'll bring the dog to you at some point.
Yes,
then, Meg,
you can come, bring the dog, yes. Bring your daughter over as well, please.
I will actually. I'll say that to her.
Introduce her to Aeneas.
Okay. That'd be lovely.
It'd probably be like chalk and cheese, but it doesn't matter.
But you know what, chalk and cheese can get on. Look at us, you know, we're quite different, but you know, it's great. So shall we wrap up for now? I could sense dinner is sort of being in the background.
Well, dinner's been cooked already with mine. I can smell it here. I've got a dog there that really needs to go out. And my dress is so sweating now. I'm like,
I love it though. I love you, and I love the colour.
I'll take pictures of it, but I just think it's all going to be wet underneath. Right.
I'm going to text you about it, and so you can tell me who the dress designer is. And
Michelle Benassi, her name is.
Okay, Michelle Benassi.
Michelle Benassi, everyone, on Instagram. Her clothes are phenomenal.
I will do.
And she's you can and buy online, and everything's all beautiful. Everything's made in India. Everything is lovely, and she lives out there. She's coming back here soon, but she does amazing stuff. I've worked with her for years and years. She used to be big designer for, like, she's done.
I'm saying thank you to
everybody. So and now she's like living back in India, and she adopted a little girl, and amazingly beautiful little girl, but she was a single mum, and she went to an orphanage, and the UK government would not let her bring her back. So she's now 16. She's been 16 years out there. So
thank you, everybody.
Can't bring sugar back.
Oh, that's awful. That's awful.
I know.
But
There you go. So she stayed in India. No, she stayed in India, and
oh,
yeah, just thought I'd say
India's a
that
lovely
anyway.
place. India's a lovely place. So I will connect with her. I think she sounds amazing as well.
Yes,
So
please do.
okay.
All
So
right.
from
Anyway,
one
lots
single
of
mum
love.
to
I'll let you
another
go.
single mum. I said from one single mum to another
Yeah.
single mum. Love you.
And
Bye
any
bye.
single mums out there, loads of love.
All mums,
And I
all
better
mums.
put my
Bye bye.
glasses on so I say it. All right. Bye.